My makeup tips on textured skin that actually work.
Here is my skin before the makeup, and here is the skin after the makeup.
Skin prep. You want it hydrated, but not too wet. People always say that skin prep is the most important thing before your makeup, and that is very true. But it doesn't matter if you use a chemical exfoliator or a toner, because that all takes time to improve the texture of your skin. So you don't just need to focus on your skin prep before your makeup, but you need a good skincare routine. And if you have extremely oily skin, I take a blotting sheet that has a little bit of powder in it, and I blot the oily areas of my face. And if you're extremely oily, use a mattifying primer in the most oily areas. I've been really dry lately, so I'm only going to use a blurring primer. I like this one from Hourglass because it's blurring but also moisturizing and not dry on the skin. And if you have a significant amount of acne or scarring that you want to cover, I always put concealer on first so you don't have to layer as much foundation. It's like underpainting but with concealer. And if you have an active zit, I'm going to use a sticky primer instead to make sure any concealer or foundation grips onto that. And just because you have textured skin, it doesn't mean you have to use all matte products. For a smooth but not flat look, I like to use a natural finish foundation or a satin finish foundation. And if your blush and bronzer always disappears, you have to use cream or liquid before powders. Setting spray will melt all of the creams. Let it sit, take a sponge, and dab it into the skin. And I don't bake right away, I just set the face. Light layer of powder first so that I can customize the glow later on. This right here is a luminous blush, and usually this would enhance the texture, but it's not extremely shiny. I'm gonna put the blush on top. It kind of mattifies the blush in a way. But in person, you can kind of see the glow. You just can't see it on camera, which is weird. By putting a blurring setting powder underneath whatever glowy product you have, it still allows your texture to be blurred, but at the same time, you can add a little glow. Now we're gonna melt the powders. Now this breaks every rule that we know, but I'm gonna take a balmy, wet cream and apply it on top of the powder. Okay, I'm just gonna take my finger and push it into the skin. And as you can tell, it did not ruin my makeup. Up close and personal. And then I use powder foundation for touch-ups. So wherever I might need a little bit more coverage, like on this pimple right here, I kind of use powder foundation like concealer sometimes. I will sometimes use it to clean up my bronzer and blush, clean up the wing area, and blend this area a little bit better. And this is the finished look.